Sports Talk. My dad, my partner, my co-host, Cowboy Joe 64.
I am the father.
This will give the Cowboys 2 good games to hopefully understand that they need to go receiver and go high with this next pick.
Yeah, that's really what this is gonna be about.
All right, welcome everyone. You're looking live at Generation Cowboys and Sports Talks. I'm the host, DJ. I tell you what, we're back with another one. We're dropping a few videos today, and this particular video, we're going to be discussing one of my favorite topics, is decoding Stephen Jones. So we're going to be talking about a lot, just what we think about the comments that Stephen Jones made, and I'm currently looking for some of the comments right now so I can pull it up and share with everyone. So you want to say what's up to everybody and kind of break down what you have already heard about what he has said.
So what's up with everybody? Appreciate you guys checking out our content. So I'm just gonna come off the top rope with one of the first comments I see him make that he made. You can hear me okay?
I can.
He said talking about the receiver room. This is pretty explosive to me. And again, some of the stuff with him is obvious, man. He's been interviewed, so he kind of has a little bit of Jerry in what he says. But he says with regarding the receivers, he said, I really like our room. At the same time, obviously losing Brandon Cooks in free agency, we're still open to looking at a really explosive number 2 that can upgrade us. Now, that's a pretty profound comment coming from him.
And also, you can look at the screen. I don't know if you can see the screen. I posted one of his comments that he said following that. You see it?
I can see it. What is he saying?
I like our room. We added Jonathan Mingo late in the year last year. I think him having a full offseason to work with Dak, we really liked him when he came out of Ole Miss. I really feel like he has a lot of upside. I certainly like our young guys. Flannery, obviously, Turpin brings a little something to the mix with his juice and explosion. I really like our room, but at the same time, losing Brandon Cooks in free agency, we're still open, and that's when he followed up with that. We're still open to adding, explosive. We're still open to looking. We're still open to looking at a really explosive number 2 that can upgrade us.
Yeah, and I'm still coming from the position of, this is the hill I'm gonna die on, and I just think that they have to be coming from a mindset that Jonathan Mingo and Tolbert, to me, they competing for the 4th and 5th receiver spot. If I'm the general manager, obviously, you got to say that about Mingo. You traded a high draft pick for him. I'm all good with having Mingo come in and compete. What I'm not going to agree with is I'm not interested in what Mingo does in training camp, underwear Olympics. He can look great in training camp. I'm honestly not even concerned about what he does in the preseason. But what I'm gonna do, and I listened to Vach earlier, shout out to Vach. A lot of the content creators, they're all aligning with if Ted is there, you take him. There's absolutely no reason you pass up Ted because of what you feel about Mingo. I think Mingo, to me, he gonna be his best self if you draft Ted, if you draft Ibuka. That's the Jonathan Mingo that I want to see. I do not want to see Jonathan Mingo in our offense as a number 2. Really don't want to see him as a 3, but that's just where I am with it.
Well, I don't think he has the skill to be number 3 on our team. I think that once we draft, Ted or whoever we draft, that's going to be our rookie receiver.
Jonathan I want to ask you this, another touch you off. Okay, so here's what I want to ask you. Okay, so let's throw out the names. We know obviously Ibuka, Golden, Ted. That's your first round. You like Luther Burden a lot, and then you got Trey Harris. I'm hearing some really good things about Jalen Royals. Is it Jaden Higgins?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just not seeing a scenario where we draft any of the 6 or 7 names that I mentioned, and those guys are not going to push Mingo down the roster. I just don't see it.
So what's your question?
So Do you think Mingo is better than a Trey Harris or a Jalen Royals would be? Do you think he's better than a Ibuka or a Golden would be? Let's just put Ted to the side.
Yeah. Um, we can put Igbuka to the side too, if that's the case. But I hear what you're saying. My thing is, you know, over the last few years, really ever since we took CD Lamb, I've been paying attention to these receivers and these rookie receivers, and I'm always hyped about these receivers, and they come into the league and then they just don't be what you thought they were going to be, other than the exception of like CD, the exception of like for instance, we didn't know that we knew Jamar Chase was going to be who he was, but we didn't know that what's his name was going to be as dynamic as he was. We didn't know that. Nobody did. Well,
I did.
Well, he didn't even get drafted in the first round, did he?
Jefferson was in the first round.
Oh well, he was in the back of the first round, right?
Yeah, you need to go look at the draft. I think, yeah,
because he wasn't picked, but he was in the same draft as CD.
Yeah, we gotta go look at where he was taken, but
yeah, let's go look at that.
There's no question in my mind what Jefferson was going to be.
Because this is what I'm saying. CD Lamb draft. What draft was that? 2020.
I'm not sure Jefferson was in that draft. Was he in the same draft with CD?
I think so. I could be wrong. I don't know. I could be wrong.
But if we look at the receivers that were taken last year in the first round, you got Keon Coleman. I think he went in a second, if I'm not mistaken. But
okay, see, the good example. Like these receivers, they be like mind blowing in the draft, and then they come in the league, and then they just don't do as well as we thought they were going to do. Or in a lot of situations, they do better. They do some of them do better, and some of them don't. Like Mingo, we covered it. Mingo, just like we covered in Trey Harris. Hey, Bo, we covered it. Mingo, I remember Mingo. But we thought he was going to be better than he actually was, and this the same with a lot of the other the receiver that they replaced Mingo with, the guy that plays for Carolina right now. We all thought he was going to be the bomb.com when he came in the league, but he really wasn't all of that. So Justin Jefferson was drafted 22nd overall behind CeeDee Lamb. I'm just saying, if the Denver Broncos thought that, right now, okay, like I'm looking at this. This is what I'm saying. I'm looking at this right now. I'm going to share this right now. I'm going to share this, and I'm going to share that draft. So in that draft, you think if these teams right here, you think if these teams would have known that Justin Jefferson was going to be going to be better than Jalen Reagor, you think they would have drafted him? I think so. You think that if Jacksonville thought that knew what Justin Jefferson was going to be, they would have drafted him instead of Kayvon Chaisson? I think so. Yeah. All of these teams, as a matter of fact, we can go to the first one that came off the board. The first wide receiver that came off the board that draft was for the Raiders. It was Henry Ruggs. If the Raiders could do it all over again, they wouldn't take Jerry Jeudy, they wouldn't take CeeDee Lamb, they would probably take Justin Jefferson. So all of these teams, these wide receivers, they be like that. So what I'm saying is, yes, Igbuka is gonna be just as good as Mingo when he comes. We're gonna be better than Mingo if we draft him. We think. And Ted. And
I think Luther Burden is no question better than Mingo.
I think they are better than Mingo. I think. Now I don't know. When they get to the league, it could be a different story.
But my point is, as we stand right now, I'm pretty sure that Ibuka, Golden, Burden, if you take them in the first round, they're probably going to be your number 2 receiver. The only reason I have any doubt is because they got to come in and learn a little bit, pick up a few things, but they're just better talented. Now, I've watched Trey Harris. When I see Trey Harris, I just see a better skill set than Mingo. I just don't. When I watch Mingo, I just don't see the skill set that says to me he's your number 2 receiver. I just don't see it.
Yeah, no.
When I see Jalen Royals play, he just has he looks like he can be your 2.
Yeah, I agree. When you see, even Tez, like you can go down the list like that.
Tez, I will say, just keeping it a buck. When I look at Tez, I see more of a 3. That's just what I see.
Oh well, I'm talking about the it factor. They have
Yeah,
that
yeah.
it factor. They jump off the
Tez
screen.
Tez has it. Also, let me say, if I draft Tez, I'm thinking that Mingo is not going to be bumping him out of playing
I don't
time. I
think
just
that.
don't think that's going to happen.
I don't think that Mingos is better than Jalen Tolbert. I don't.
And I would agree with that one. Let me make a correction. I think Mingo is more like an X, and Tez probably is going to play more of a slot in the NFL. So they different receivers. But
Yeah.
but yeah, I agree. I think Jalen Tolbert. A lot of people are down on Jalen Tolbert. I understand it, but I'm just not seeing anything that says Mingo is better than Tolbert.
No, I'm not saying anything either. And I think, like I said, what I think you're gonna see is, I think this is what I really think gonna happen. I really think that they're gonna draft a receiver in the first round. I hope they do, and I hope it's Ted. If they draft Ted, you're gonna have 1A and 1B and CD and Ted, and then the next person is gonna be
Ibuka.
well, I'm talking about if we draft one of them.
Uh-huh.
If we draft one of them, they're gonna be CD gonna be 1A, they're gonna be 1B. And then after that, you're gonna have Tolbert and Turpin, and then after that, it's gonna be Mingo. Mingo and Flanore, they in the same category. But it's gonna be our wide receiver room is gonna be competitive if we draft the
Yeah.
first wide receiver. If we draft the first round wide receiver, and we got CD and that person, and they play Turpin like they should, and Tolbert. And if we get someone else, because on my drafts, in my mock drafts, I'm getting two receivers. I'm getting one in the first round if I can, which is like Ted, Egbuka, and Golden. And then I'm coming back like in the fifth round, and I'm getting one of the Zach Besh or somebody like that. If they're there, I'm doing that.
Yeah.
I'm getting them.
Best won't be in the field, but there's some other guys that'll be there in the field. But just keeping it a buck. Look, I don't have anything against Mingo. If he comes in, if he just go out there, he's smoking people, he just making plays, then he gonna get everything he deserves. I'm just saying, just looking at his talent, I just don't see why you made a trade and you traded a fourth round pick for this player. And what I don't want to see, what the Cowboys do, is kind of like what Vash said in his show that he did a few weeks ago. It was just brilliant. What good teams do, players like Mingo, they're always trying to push them down the roster. They're always trying to bring in players that are better than them. And that's what the Cowboys should be doing. That's hopefully what Steven was talking about today. He threw out a kudos to Mingo. I get it. It's an obvious, Captain Obvious type answer. What do you expect me to say? They traded a 4th round pick for the guy, but I ain't trying to hear that we making plans around Mingo as
Mhm.
being our number two and he's this or he's that. I'm not hearing that.
But the fact that he even let those words come out of his mouth, saying that he wants an explosive second round. I mean, he
Yeah.
wants explosive second. That's music to my ears coming from
That
Stephen
that's
Jones.
that's something that they've never said before. You always got to be careful that they trying to throw a smoke screen because they really want Shamar Stewart. You
Oh
always
yeah,
got to be careful on that.
yeah. And so, what else did you hear that he said? I'm trying to find some of the stuff that he said.
He did another obvious man answer about the contract talks with Micah, and there's
Mm,
some discussion about the Cowboys meeting with Micah one on one, and we always got to keep perspective on that as well because Micah's agent is David Mulugeta. When these
mhm,
players have these powerful agents, and all of the agents are terrific, the teams can have like sidebar conversations with the players. Now, Micah
mhm,
just likes to talk, so yeah, if you see Micah at a baseball game or something, and y'all just chatting. He had some time with Jerry Jones in his suite and all of that. Just walk
mhm,
around the facility. Trust me. Jerry Jones and Steven are not talking to Micah about hard numbers. David Mulugeta would never let Micah do that.
mm,
What they're doing, they're just kind of chatting it up, opening up a line of communication. That's all good. That's great. But the hard numbers, they're not
mhm.
talking hard numbers with Micah. So again, David Mulugeta is going to handle all of that. And the bottom line is they could get Micah signed Friday, or they could get him signed in September. It's not gonna change.
Yeah. And here's John Machota's let's see, where is this at? Here's John Machota's Twitter,
Hmm.
and let's see, there it is. And
Shout out to
so
John Matola. I like
sh-
John.
yeah, I do too. And he's always in the know. He's always there. He's always the one that
Hmm.
gets the information when nobody else does. He be like his videos.
And he keep it real too. He don't, you know.
Yeah, he does. So this is what we got. So Stephen Jones on the run, Bland and Jake Ferguson. He says they are really good players that we want to keep around. There are scenarios where we sit down, have a visit with them. You got to have the two sides to get a negotiation done. We're certainly looking at that with those guys. Now, everyone is. I don't understand why people are down on Jake Ferguson. I don't understand why people are. I mean, I kind of do, but then again, to me, it's just to me. If you know football, you wouldn't be thinking about Ferguson having a bad year last year. If you know that, okay, well, Dak usually gets his tight ends involved, and Dak wasn't even there last year for him to get going. It's kind of like Jake Ferguson never could get going, and he also got hurt. So,
Hmm.
I don't like the Jake Ferguson disrespect, because to me, I just feel like when the game is on the line and when you need playmakers to make plays, Ferguson is one of those guys that you want him to get the ball, because it's just like the year before last, him and CD were the engines on our team. Um, he Jake Ferguson is a dog, and he is definitely, now would I use his down year in contract negotiations? Yeah, I would, but at the same time, I would I would definitely get him signed at a discounted rate or whatever, because tight ends are not that much. You know, the tight end market hasn't exploded yet. So I would get the Jake Ferguson sign, and I would still try to get a tight end in this draft. I would try to get a tight end like the tight end from Penn State. If he's there and we're
Tyler
wiped out,
Warren.
Tyler Warren, I'm getting him. The tight end from LSU, if he's there, and we can get him on in the second round or third round, if he's one of the best players available, and it's just that time, that's what I would do, because um it's not going to be hard to get. It's not it would be beneficial to have two tight ends that are weapons, because Jake Ferguson is a weapon. So it's not like Jake Ferguson is not a weapon. He's a weapon. So I would get him, and get him signed. Now, Deron Bland, the cornerback market has exploded, and Deron Bland is a top corner. People can say that he had one of those, give one of those years where it's just, he got the 6 interceptions. Well, he broke the record for interceptions, and that was just a lucky type of thing. It's not. Deron Bland is just a good corner. He's a good starting NFL corner, and he should be paid like a good starting NFL corner. I don't know if he should be the top paid, but he should be
Hmm.
paid, and he should be paid just like Trayvon Diggs is paid. So, cornerback is one of those positions that it's easy to get hurt playing cornerback, as we can see. Our corners get hurt. A lot of our corners got hurt last year. Trayvon did, Deron Bland did, Butler did, and people be forgetting about Butler. People be acting like they don't know who Butler is. Butler come back healthy. If he comes back healthy and he was playing like he was playing last year before he got injured, he gonna see a lot of playing time on the field, because he was doing great before he got hurt. And people uh aren't I haven't heard anybody mention him.
Hmm.
And I'm,
Hey,
I'm
well, I kind of expand on that. Go check on him
oh yeah.
and get him up. And
Yeah,
so
go ahead.
I'll just talk about that. So um, while you go do that,
Okay.
so
Yeah.
I would say I do kind of. You going? Okay. I kind of agree with the Jake Ferguson discussion. Look, I don't think Jake Ferguson is a player that we're talking about top two or three tight ends in the league. But I do think Jake Ferguson is somebody you got to have a discussion about a contract extension and at least a fifth year option. He's been good enough for that. I do agree that Dak not being there, had an impact on his year last year. But I'm gonna go back to what I said earlier. You're always looking to add and improve your team. So, if you get an opportunity to add a tight end to go along with Jake Ferguson, you do that. And if they sign Jake Ferguson to a contract extension, I mean, I wouldn't hate it. I mean, I would be good with it. And the same with Deron Bland. I do think when Bland came back last year, the last games that he played, I thought he was really good. It was a couple of games where he followed the other team's best receiver. And in the NFL, when you play in corner, the league and the rules, they're shaded to make it hard for you to shut guys down on the receiver side. So, but I think Bland does a good job. I think he is someone that's going to come in and play the run really well, tackles well. You throw the ball anywhere near him, he's going to catch it. So I think Jay Ferguson and Deron Bland, if you get those deals done, you can't hate those deals. I think that'd be good on the Cowboys' part. And then, you're still trying to add talent. If you sign these guys, that's the other thing that we keep saying about the Cowboys. When you sign players to a contract, you still trying to improve your team. You don't sign them to Ron Bland and Jake Ferguson and say, "Oh, we're just done." If you draft in the upcoming years and a really good corner is there, you take him. If you get in a draft and you get forced to take a Tyler Warren, you just take him. You just keep building your team, and you don't just say, "I'm signing guys." So and that's one of the problems the Cowboys have. They'll sign a player, and then they're pretty much just done. They don't look to upgrade the position. They don't look to add more players to that position. That's a mistake that they've made in the last 30 years, and it doesn't work.
Yeah, I agree. So yeah, I'm on John Machota's Twitter right here. It actually, this is it right here. This is the conversation. He has it listed on here in quotes. So this is the
Mhm.
conversation because I'm reading more than I'm reading more of his Twitter than I've even heard them talking about. So right, what I just read a minute ago, I want to break this down. Well, I'm gonna break this down first in order. Okay. Um, Okay, so on one here he says Overshawn and Trayvon are working their way back from we don't know when we will get these players back. They have significant injuries. There's a good chance that they may not start for us when the season starts. They may not be available. Well, we know that. And the Cowboys have a problem of rushing players back. They always do that. So if Trayvon and Overshawn are smart, they won't be ready by the time the season starts. They don't
Mhm.
need to rush back. Um, and we'll be okay without them too. We'll be okay without them. And then the next thing that he says that I'm looking at here says Stephen Jones. He says I think the running back group is really stout compared to past years. So I think there's a great opportunity to pick up a young back. You know, to me, I mean, like you said, Captain Obvious, right? But I mean, you they should they're going to be picking a running back in the second round, first or second round. They got to. It's really no. They have now the Cowboys do crazy things, but it's just no way possible that they can go without adding a running back from the first or the
Yeah.
second round. They just cannot do that. I
And
just don't
something
see a
you said
situation.
earlier that I kind of pushed back on a little bit. You said you would double dip at receiver. I'm
Yeah, I
I'm
would.
double dipping at running back for sure.
Yeah.
I'm trying to because it's so many good backs in this draft, and
Hmm.
you could get a back in the first and second round. You can come back in the fifth. What's going to happen is in the fifth round, it's going to be a running back in the fifth round that really should have been in the fourth or in the third. It's going to be a receiver in the fifth round. It probably could have been there in the fourth. So you're
Hmm.
going to be able to double dip, and running back is to me, it's a no-brainer.
Really,
Um,
man, I wish I could just take one of these players that are suitable for both positions,
I mean, but yeah, but
like a
uh,
Debo Samuel or a like I can envision Savion Williams being a
he would
third
be he would be
receiver.
a guy that you could do that with. But yeah, it's so many good running backs. So uh, And shout out to Lou and Big Game James. They did a show last night. It was very good. They were just talking about, some of the options at O lines, and they did another show last night. And what we're seeing time and time again is when everybody does mock drafts, I'm telling you, you can just build this team in a way you could get 7 or 8 players. They could all come in and have an impact. And I'm going to
Mhm.
talk about this, and we can just do our mock draft and then kind of start wrapping up here. Vach did his show tonight, and he said something that we've been talking about for weeks and weeks and weeks. We said there are going to be some players that the Cowboys absolutely should not take at 12, and that's how you are going to jack up this draft. Are you still there?
I'm listening.
And if you take one of these players, this is how you jack up your draft. This draft you really can't mess it up, but there's a way you can. And Voch talked about it tonight. Shout out to Voch. He said at 12 he had these names. He said Shamar Stewart, Nick Scorton. It was a couple of other players he didn't mention. I think Walter Nolan was one.
Mhm.
He said those are the players that if the Cowboys stand in there at 12 and pick those players, that's how you start this draft in a bad way. And what's going to end up happening is if they pick one of those guys, this is the way this draft is going to go. They're going to pick one of those guys, okay? And then their second round and third round pick, what we're going to be hearing in training camp is their second and third round pick is playing better than their first round pick. What we're also going to hear next season is that their second and third round pick is playing well. They first round pick, they need 2 or 3 years to develop. That's
Right.
how you screw your draft up. And he gave some names. That's exactly what you want to see them avoid.
Well, yeah, that's exactly what you want to see them avoid. And I'll say this though,
And
just to
and before
get
I forget, the other ones, the other players that he didn't like at 12, Jalen Walker. What's the other Georgia player?
Jalen Walker and
And Mikael
yeah,
Williams.
Michael
So
Williams.
so Mikael Williams, Jalen Walker, Nick Scorton. Those were the players. He said if the Cowboys, matter of fact, this is what Voch said. He said if they pick one of those guys at 12, he said he's gonna get up and walk away from his broadcast.
Well, this is what I'll tell Vach. Now I'm with you 100%, but I'll say this: the only time that we look at the Cowboys' first round draft pick and we say the latter, which was um, the second and third round picks are playing better than the first round pick, is when the Cowboys pick late like that. You know, they when they pick like last year, when
Mm.
they picked Tyler Guyton, they picked like late like that. You
And
know, when they
Schoon and
picked
Mozzie.
Schoon and Mozzie, they were Mozzie was a late pick. So it's just like those players. It's just kind of like when they get out of the top dynamic players and they get on the borderline from 1 to 2, they kind of get wishy washy for some reason. But when they pick high, like 12, stuff like that, they pick Zach Martin, they pick Micah,
Mm.
they pick CD, so because when we got to understand what scares me is when you get to 12 and somebody has fallen that they have fallen and you want to pick them and you should pick them, but there's an obvious reason why they're falling, and that's the reason why you should not pick them, and then but you end up picking them. Like I like the cornerback, Will Campbell. I like him, but at the same time, if he falls to 12 and someone like Tet is there, I would rather have Tet. Like Mimbu. What if Mimbu is there at 12? I mean, he's ranked 6 and he's a tackle.
So
I mean,
Will Campbell is a tackle,
no,
and
no,
you
Will
talking about
Campbell is a
Will
tackle
Johnson.
and Will Johnson is the corner. I'm sorry. So if
It's
Will
a lot of people
Johnson,
that it's a lot of people that have questions about Will Johnson, and I do as well.
and exactly, and that's going to be my problem. If he's there at 12, I'm going to be nervous that they will take him. And they would take him over even a Tyler Warren. They would take him over a Ted. You know, that's my thing. But like,
Tyler Warren over Ted.
no, they would take Will Johnson if he's there over one of those players. That's what I'm fearing that they would do.
Yeah,
I'm fearing like they would take like Mimbu over Ted. If Will Campbell is there, the tackle, what if he there?
yeah. I think to
If
me,
he there and Ted is there, to me, I I mean I would take Ted, but that's just because I want a weapon.
yeah.
I don't.
But understand too what we're saying is that there are going to be some players worthy at taking that 12. You know, Will Campbell, Will Johnson, Mimbu. If you take them at 12, it's not a reach. So we're not probably not going to be excited about it, but it'll be just like when you picked Zach Martin.
I don't
The
know about
players we
picking
just
Zach.
mentioned.
Yeah, but when we pick Zach Martin over Johnny Manziel, they ain't
Yeah,
comparable.
yeah. But I'm just saying, when we picked Zach Martin, no
Yeah.
one was excited about it, but he
Tyler
was
Smith.
rated. He was rated that high.
Tyler
What we're,
Smith.
what we're saying, and I agree with Voch, is you shouldn't be picking Shamar Stewart, Michael Williams uh,
My dude, with like my what I would be telling
at
my
12.
thing with the Jones is it's just like Vach. I would tell Vach, I can name you 12 players right now that they should take at 12. And we shouldn't talk about anybody else. And some of these players is obvious that they not gonna fall. But I'm just
Yeah.
saying,
And that's what he was saying. That's the point he was making today. But there are
right.
people outside of that 12 that
You
you
know,
should say, we're not taking them at
one of
12. And
the
that's,
Cowboys picks. Matter of fact, we can do it. We can do it on our next show. I can make the I can make the thumbnail with those 12 players. Travis Hunter, Abdul Carter, Mason Graham, Ashton Genty, Will Campbell, Mimbu, Ted, Shador, Cam Ward, Will Johnson, Tyler Warren, Jalen Walker. Those are the top 12 players. So our draft pick should be one of those 12 people that I just named. And we know it's not going to be certain people. We know it's not going to be Travis Hunter. We know it's not going to be Abdul Carter. We
yeah.
know it's not going to be Mason Graham or Ashton. We know that. We know it's not going to be Cam Ward. Everybody else is fair game. I think it's a possibility Shador might be there. I think it's a possibility Mimbu might be there.
Yeah.
So and I keep saying this. I'm gonna keep saying this until I'm not correct. I think that Shador Sanders will be there when we pick, and I think that they. I think that it's a possibility that Tet won't be there. I think it's a possibility that Tet won't be there, and Shador will. I think it's a possibility that that your people that you got to pick from is gonna start with Shador, and it's gonna go after that. I think it's gonna be like Shador, Tyler Warren, Jalen Walker, because I just think that
I,
the NFL is just no. I don't think that people are not gonna trade up for him like they think they are, and I think that the NFL I think that these teams are gonna try to prove a point, and they gonna pass on Shador, and I think that he gonna be there when we pick. That's just what I think. I could be wrong, but that's what I think. And I'm gonna be very upset if
I
they
think if
take
Shador
somebody
is
else.
there at 12, you're going to have a team like the Steelers. You might get a phone call from them.
That's a possibility.
They're at 20. They're at 21. Uh, you
Or
might
they
get a
can just wait
you,
and take Jalen Milrow.
yeah, but if they want Shador, they're not going to wait.
Well,
And what they could do is wait, and then Shador would still just fall to him. That's a possibility.
I
But
hope so. In all of my mock drafts starting about 3 or 4 days ago, and every last one of my mock drafts, I'm trading back in the second, or I'm figuring out even the ones where I'm not trading back. I'm picking Jalen Milrow in the second round on all of them.
so let's go ahead and do a mock draft, and we can just then we can wrap,
And then
and
Stephen
then
Jones said this too. He said that he spoke highly of the team's edge rushers, Michael Parsons, Dante Fowler, Sam Williams, Marshawn Nealon, but added, if the right guy is there in the draft, we'll certainly entertain a pass rusher at any point. Yeah, but I hope that point is after the third round because,
yeah,
uh, you know,
yeah. Because Captain Obvious, I mean, look, they don't need to take an edge,
no.
and based on what we're seeing, There is no one at 12 you should be taking right there because you got Micah, you got Sam Williams, you got Dante Fowler, and you got Nealon. You've already invested in Nealon, but again, that's the point that Vach was saying earlier. They don't need an edge, but what they'll do at 12 to throw their draft off is they'll take an edge.
My question is, I've been hearing a lot about my ears perk up every time I hear somebody say that they have a trade in the making, and then I'm also perking up my ears up every time I hear somebody say that they could be trading up in this draft to get somebody. I'll just be curious on who that would be.
You thinking that they still might make a trade for Tyreek Hill?
I hope so. I'm not. I don't think that, but I hope so. I'm thinking that they might be trying to trade up in the draft and get one of those players that I just named.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I just don't see this as a draft where you need to trade up. I think you just need to let the players fall to you. I'm not even 100% sure. If I trade for Tyreek Hill, I'm not giving up a lot. I'm not really sure what his contract is, but look, he's somebody that I would absolutely want on my team.
If you trade for Tyreek Hill, I mean, if you trade for Tyreek Hill, you trying to win right now, and you probably will.
Yeah, I mean, he's a great player. I'm kind of concerned about his age. I'm kind of concerned about he just has a element to his game. I want to call it goofy to where you're just watching games where he's playing and you're just like, what is he doing?
Well,
he's dropping passes. He's just doing goofy stuff.
I think that Tyreek Hill is going to go down as one of the greatest receivers ever. Is that a hot take?
He's a great receiver.
So he's not one of the greatest receivers ever?
I wouldn't put him in the greatest ever. I wouldn't.
Okay, let me see. Where does Tyreek Hill rank? And before we do our draft, where does Tyreek Hill rank?
I think he's an odd player. He's not even a classic receiver to me, but
because
man, I start naming the top 10 receivers. He's not even in the ballpark with my top 10.
I don't know.
When you start making the list out, he's not in the ballpark.
I think he's one. I think he's one of the greatest of all time. Yeah, I think so. I mean, I don't. Yeah, like you said, he's not a standard. He's not your typical receiver, but he's definitely one of the. He one of them. He got to be. I would say this. We third generation, fourth generation. He's definitely one of the greatest of my generation.
Yeah, and I agree with that. To me, he's kind of similar to Debo. He's just kind of Debo doesn't really fit in a lot of different categories. He's just a good player. He's just a playmaker. That's what I would say about Tyreek Hill. He's a hell of a playmaker. Terrific player.
Well, let's just put it like this. I didn't even know this, so I guess I did. The NFL players voted him the top NFL player of the NFL top 100 last year. He was number one.
I mean, I could see that, and I could see in a couple of years back, Debo would have been up there. But yeah, they terrific talent.
I mean, he first team All-Pro, 5-time first team All-Pro. Come on, 5-time first team.
I ain't taking anything away from him, and if he was on our team, we should be able to just. I'm
gonna make sure I got this correct. So if he's 5-time first team All-Pro, that means that 5 years. That means that for 5 years he was the best receiver in the NFL.
I don't think he's ever been considered the best receiver in the NFL. Let's just stop and think about this. We were talking about it earlier. The top 3 receiver, and they're 1A, 1B, and 1C. I think CD, to me, is the best. Is Jefferson, Chase, and CD. To me, he doesn't belong in the group with them because he's a different kind of player.
But he's a receiver. You can say he's a different kind of player, but he's a receiver. I mean,
he's a different dude.
He is, but according to Wikipedia and according to the NFL, he was first team All-Pro in 2016, 2018. So that means that what they're saying is they're voting that he was the best NFL receiver for that year. That's what that means.
I get it.
So You know, he's 8-time Pro Bowl. You know, 8-time Pro Bowl. You know, he's on the
He's a
2010 All Decade
he's
team.
a terrific player. Uh, I would love to have him on our team.
Yeah,
I just think those three guys that I mentioned, they're like a different level of dudes, just to me.
I agree.
Let's
But yeah,
let's go ahead and do our mock.
let's
And
see. But yeah, I definitely put he up there. But you know, I will say this: when we do have these conversations, he's always by himself.
yeah, he is. He's a unique player.
He is. But hey, like you said, I would love to have him on my team. And so okay, so now we got the draft up, and you know, man, Ted went to San Francisco again, which I think is gonna happen, and they're asking to trade back to 23 and pick up 54.
So let's do this. I think that if Ted and Genty is not there, I think realistically they're gonna probably want to trade back, and trading back to 23 is not bad, and you picking up a second.
Yeah, and
So
but in your next one is trading back to 17 and picking up 49.
that's even better, right?
Yeah,
So let's do that one.
and then
Yeah, that's a terrific trade. It might be realistic because somebody might be trying to move up. So at
mm-hmm.
17, who is Ibuka still there?
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Let me look in a second, see. And then we got 3 trade offers. We're not gonna take any, but because they crazy. But
Well, you taking 17 and 49.
yeah, and then one trade offer was saying pick 17 for pick 36, 70, and 88.
Well, that's trading out of the first round, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
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 see
17.
now me, I would do that, but I'm not gonna do it for this
Yeah.
argument. But I would do that because now I know for a fact I'm finna get a receiver, running back, linebacker. You know what I mean?
So you was
So
going from 12 to what?
well, it went from 17 to 36,
Oh,
but
okay, okay. That was you was doing two trades.
yeah, I'm not gonna do
Okay,
that.
no, so let's just do the 17 and 49 and keep it moving.
Right. So right now, 17 and the best player available is Jalen Walker. The next player available is Matthew Golden. I would take Matthew Golden.
Where's Ibuka?
Actually, I would take Egbuka. Egbuka is further down the list. Um, but they got Colston Loveland, Derek Harmon, Tyler Booker, the guard from Alabama,
So
Jihad
for the sake
Campbell,
of the reality, let's just
Josh
take Golden.
Josh Simmons is there too.
They probably would take Golden, so we'll do
Yeah.
Golden.
hmm And then okay, so we do Golden, and then the second round, they're asking us to trade back 2 spots and pick up 118. You
You
want to
can
just
do that.
return? Hold on, real quick. So you want me to do that?
Yeah.
All right.
And then we'll just stop trading. Cause I think some of these trades, draft day, I'm kind of suspect, but
Yeah. So right now, 46. Walter Nolan is the first one available, and then after him is Jackson Dart. Then is Travion Henderson, Carson Schweshinger, Jalen. Well, no, we got a receiver.
where's Quinshawn Judkins at?
We got 46 and 49. Quinshawn Judkins he's down the list at they still got Travion Henderson here. They still got
So
Caleb Johnson here.
to keeping it a dose of reality, I don't like Walter Nolan. They probably would take Walter Nolan right here.
So that's what you
Is
want
is,
to do?
Ty, is Tyleek Williams gone?
Yeah.
He is.
I think so. Let me see. Yeah, he's gone.
So
I mean,
they probably would take Walter Nolan, then come back and get the running back.
yeah, that's what they would do. I mean, I guess we can do that. Now, what I would do is I would take Jackson Dart, and then I would take
No.
I would take
Well, I
Jackson.
mean, yeah.
I would
You
take
trying to
Jackson
get your
Dart.
quarterback, but they're not doing that.
I would take Jackson Dart, and then I would take Travion Henderson, or
Yeah,
one of
but
the.
we're the Cowboys, so we're gonna do Walter Nolan,
Yeah.
and then we're gonna look for the running back next.
Right.
No more trades.
No more trade. Travion Henderson or Caleb Johnson or Quinshawn Judkins.
So man, that's now I like Henderson, but who's rated the highest?
Travion Henderson. That's who they would take.
Take Travion Henderson.
I would take Caleb Johnson, but no biggie.
So
And
now
then
you
there's
got Golden, you got Walter Nolan, Travion Henderson. So what's our next pick?
our
What
next pick
round?
is
Third
76. We're
round?
in round 3. And now you got um Alfred Collins there, Kevin Winston Jr., Denzel Burke. That's who they would take.
What Denzel Burke play again?
Cornerback from Ohio State.
Yep, that's who they would take. Take him.
Okay. I mean, right now you got an A plus draft right now,
Who's our
and then
next pick?
that's 118, and then
That's fourth round.
yeah, and this is where it gets interesting because you got the Virginia Tech running back Tootin, and then you got right after him you got Savion Williams. Those are the
Very,
two
very
highest.
interesting. Who else? Who else is the highest rated player?
Those are the two highest rated, and then you got
Really?
Kobe. Yeah, then you got Kobe Bryant, Tyler Barron, the edge from Miami, Jordan Hancock, a cornerback. We already got one.
Yes, Kobe Bryant, the linebacker.
No, he's a cornerback, which we already got. So this is interesting because, this is interesting. You have to, according to the board, they would pick one of the best players available right here. They would either double dip. They would double dip a running back, or they would double dip at receiver. I mean, me personally, I would take Savion.
Yeah,
but
I would.
Yeah, I would take Savion.
To me, we was talking about it earlier.
He's a unicorn.
Huh?
He's a unicorn. Savion.
We talked about Tyreek Hill earlier. Savion is going to be that same type of
unique
type of player.
Yeah, he is. But Tootin is just as fast as Tyreek Hill.
But we can get another back here in a minute.
Yeah, so Savion it is. If the Cowboys draft went like this, I'm not watching no more.
Bots like Savion, by the way. Some of our other content creators, they don't like him.
I don't know why.
Mm-hmm.
He one of them ones for sure.
He's somebody that you can. What I'm trying to do, I'm just trying to build a good football team. And that's what Jimmy did.
Hey, well, if it went like this and you had Golden on your team and Savion on your team, Mingo might not make it out of camp.
But we still got more picks, right?
Yeah, you got 171. This is our last pick.
And what round?
No, we got two. We got two more picks. We are in round 5. These are our 5th round picks.
Now let's see who the top ranked player is and if what other backs are available.
Jamari Caldwell. I don't know none of these players. Dylan Gabriel from Oregon.
Now you want a backup quarterback? That would be your quarterback right there.
Dylan Gabriel, yeah. Let me see. Yeah, he would be the run. He would be the one. I'm gonna go ahead and
what running backs are rated right there?
No, I don't see none.
No running backs?
Well, Kyle Monanji, Corey Kenner, Jordan James from Oregon, Jaquez Hunter from Auburn. He's good.
Now, what would be really cool is if we could get Gabriel and the other running back from Oregon you just mentioned. He's a good back.
Mm-hmm. So, did I take Gabriel? No, I'm gonna take Gabriel right now, and I'm gonna take the running back from Oregon.
Yeah,
Jordan James, because he's a good back.
You got good backs.
And so you did this. You traded. Well, we traded twice or once. And
how many players you picked?
1, 2, 3, 7 in 5 rounds.
And see, this is kind of what they did last night on the other show. But what I keep trying to demonstrate, folks, is the Cowboys, if they just do this right and they can do it now, what we're going to do real quick when we get through with this, we're going to do a draft with no trades. We got to also face the reality is that we're assuming the Cowboys are going to be able to trade. They may not be able to trade it. You got to have somebody to trade with. But if they trade, I predict that the second round is going to be the round to trade down and pick up extra picks. If they just do that, and they just pick the best players, the players that are there. Don't try to do this reach stuff, and don't try to be goofy. what you just did right there, you just built your team. I mean, for years to come next season. So go through them again.
Matthew Golden, Walter Nolan, Travion Henderson, Denzel Burke, Savion Williams. Those are all starters too. Everybody. Dylan.
Savion probably won't start, but
I don't know about that.
yeah, he Savion has issues with catching with with his hands, but that's okay. That's but we're gonna be doing other stuff with him.
And then you got right, and then you got Dylan Gabriel, the Oregon quarterback, and then you got the
Yeah,
Oregon running back, and they got a familiar face in our franchise with our wide receivers coach.
yeah, Gabriel, he could literally be your starting quarter. I mean, not your starter. He could be your backup quarterback for the next 5 years. He is way better than Cooper Rush, way better than Trey Lance.
Yeah, yeah, this is true. He is, and
But
and
this
and
is
and
this is
Jordan
how you
James
can
and Jordan James is going to make the team.
Jordan James and your other back that we picked on. I forgot who it was already. Uh,
Travion Henderson.
Travion Henderson and Jordan James, they probably your starting running backs by mid-season. Probably maybe before that.
Well, Travion gonna be day one,
Yeah,
probably.
so yeah, so your guy you brought in, your two running backs you brought in,
Yeah,
you
so
bringing players in to push them off the roster. You bringing in players on this draft. Jonathan Mingo and Tolbert, they are gonna be in trouble if they don't
well,
like
Tolbert, they punting on Tolbert already because they talking about Steven talking about we
Mingo
looking for a
number two.
explosive number two. But I just want to this is how this goes with the Cowboys. I just want to let everybody know, like I said last show, Tolbert is going to be our number 3 or 4 receiver, but he gonna have stats like he number 2. He gonna what I mean by that is like I don't see I see CD and Golden working us down the field, and 7 times out of 10, Dak will find Tolbert in the back of the end zone for a touchdown.
Yeah, look, man, Tolbert is a terrific number 4 receiver. He could, and what's gonna happen too? There are gonna be some games where Tolbert has to be your 3, and he's gonna do fine. He gonna score a touchdown. So I don't dislike Jalen Tolbert. He's just not a 1 or a 2. If we
No,
ended up with Jalen Tolbert as our 3, you can work with that, but because he gonna make plays, Dak is gonna be very comfortable with him. What we're saying is we just need to get somebody better.
yeah, for sure. Cause
And I don't think it's Mingo. I don't think Mingo is better than Tolbert.
nah, me neither. He haven't showed us anything to prove that.
So let's do our next draft and we're gonna close it out. This time we're not gonna do no trades because I think this is a strong possibility that they just won't be able to trade down.
Yeah, they gonna get Ted in this one. I knew it. So we're not gonna do no trading down. So Ted is there. That's who we taking. Kevin Banks Jr. is always also there.
Yeah, well you taking Ted, so now you're going to 44,
Yep.
and then you're looking for a running back or a defensive line or
Amarion
somebody.
Hampton is there, so we gotta take him.
Yeah, that's a slam dunk. You cooking so far. I don't think Hampton is gonna be there. So did you see who the next back was?
It was no, I didn't. Now, you in the 3rd round, and
You
TJ
got
Sanders is there.
remind me who he is.
He's a defensive tackle from South Carolina,
Is he the
and
number one player?
yeah,
Number.
and Alfred Collins is there too, the defensive
Oh,
tackle from Texas.
well, I'm taking Alfred Collins.
Okay, and Harold Fanning is right below him.
Man, boy, man, I would love to get Fannin.
Yeah, so
And see, Fannin is the type of player we was talking about Jay Ferguson earlier. I like Jay Ferguson. We should give Jay Ferguson a new contract. But if I had a chance to draft Harold Fannin, I'm taking him.
yeah, I'm
But
taking him
in,
too. We got a defensive. We got defensive tackle in the offseason.
but I think Alfred Collins is a player that you wouldn't be able to pass him up.
Yeah, I mean, so where you want to go with that? They would go with Alfred Collins.
Yeah, they would go with Collins. I don't think they would take Fannin.
Nah, so
Uh,
we'll take Alfred Collins. And then I did to round 5, so we don't
and
have
then
no.
Fannin is one of those players. If you pick up some extra picks, in your case, you would probably be trying to get Milrow. I would be trying to get somebody like Fannin.
Okay, so now we got our last pick, at 149, and the first player on the board is Quinn Ewers. They would take him.
Who else is there?
That we know of, Malachi Moore, the safety from Alabama. Dylan Gabriel is there. Riley Leonard is there.
So they would take Ewers.
Yeah.
And let me say this right here. If Quinn Ewers is your backup for the next 4 years, I mean you're cooking. The only issue I have with Quinn Ewers is that his mobility. The other two guys that you mentioned, Dylan Gabriel, and Riley Leonard. Dylan Gabriel is way better than Riley Leonard.
Yeah, and then now we're at our last pick, and I'm just looking through here. The only person that I see that I know is
we still trying to double dip at running back. So who's the running back that's left? We probably should have looked at that when we drafted Quinn Ewers.
Oh man, they really we really don't know none of these players besides Jordan James from Oregon.
He's still there?
Yeah, but
that's who you gonna take. Yeah,
I would take Caden Prather.
He's a receiver.
Yeah, but he's rated a little bit. He's rated way lower than Jordan James. So I'll take Jordan James.
Yeah, you're gonna take Jordan James right there. And this is also important. If we draft Golden or we draft Ibuka, you still need to try to sign, Keenan Allen or Amari Cooper.
Well, we had 174 too, so I was able to get Caden Prather.
Okay, yeah. So he's a receiver.
Yeah. So we got Ted, Omarion Hampton, Alfred Collins, Quinn Ewers, Jordan James, and Caden Prather.
That's an A+ draft.
Yeah, I don't know how the Cowboys. I mean, they like I said, every day that we do a draft, I'm just saying to myself, there's no way that they can mess this up, because it's no scenario that we have done where it's just been like, man, that was a bad draft. We haven't done one.
And here's the thing about Collins from Texas, and we have to double check this. I believe he's going to be a one tech.
Mm-hmm.
So he would not stun me if you draft a player like that. And it was another player that we mentioned that we didn't take instead of him. It was somebody else that was there. I forget who it was. They were right above Collins. It was a defensive tackle.
TJ Sanders.
Was it Sanders?
Yeah.
What I was going to say, the thing about them, they might come in day one and be better than Maji.
It's very possible.
Yeah, so that's why I'm saying you don't just draft Maji and you look at what we've been kind of working with Maji the last couple of years, going into his third year. You don't just say to yourself, we got Maji and we're done. You're going back to what Vach said, and what I've been saying is you're trying to find somebody to come in. If they can push Maji down the roster. And that's what Alfred Collins would have to do. Alfred Collins he might be starting by week 4.
Yeah, I agree. So we've been on for an hour, so we can go ahead and wrap up so I can go check on him and finish my own work. So y'all make sure y'all comment, like, and subscribe. We're gonna be dropping more videos. I'm gonna break this one up too. So y'all make sure y'all like, comment, like, and subscribe. And we'll see y'all on the next one. Peace.